Occasionally, a situation arises where we need to remove the background from a photo. Sometimes this may be, a JPEG graphic that really would be better off being a PNG, it's just not. But today we're actually seeing a pretty common practice of removing a person or an object from a photo and giving it some sort of extra treatment. You've probably seen this in YouTube thumbnails or other types of social media where we see a person who's actually removed from the photo, maybe placed atop a colored background with some type of extra text. There are a handful of ways to accomplish this. Back in the day, I was taught that the really one and only way to do this was using Photoshop's magnetic lasso tool. Again, this is sort of a tried and true practice, and I still do it from time to time, but it's not always the most efficient or even practical way, especially if folks don't have a copy of Photoshop. Don't worry, PowerPoint has your back. There's a really easy way to do this using PowerPoint's remove background tool. So I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. Okay, so I have a PowerPoint document open here on my screen with two different JPEG file types up. On the left, I have an illustrated graphic with a solid background, and on the right, I have an actual photograph. In this case, I'm going to walk you through how to remove the backgrounds from both file types so that you can use them just like you would a PNG. Let's see how that's done. Okay, so let's begin with our astronaut illustration. To begin, I'm going to go ahead and select the graphic, and then up at the upper right-hand corner, you'll see something called Picture Format. That only appears when you actually select the graphic. So I'm going to click that, and then over on the left, I'll see something called Remove Background. This is basically going to remove any of the unwanted portions of the picture, and then we can really mark it up to either keep or remove the areas of the picture that it doesn't quite get correct. PowerPoint is going to automatically detect the areas of the picture that it thinks we want to remove, and it does a pretty good job. You can see the areas in hot pink are what it thinks that we want to actually separate from the image. It's correct for the most part. It's 85–90% of the way there. And we can go ahead and select Keep Changes to see what that does. You can see that the top of the head did get cut off just a little bit, and then down at the very bottom, we see the toes were also cut off. So not totally ideal, right? So I'll go ahead and click Ctrl-Z and try again. Click Picture Format again, click Remove Background, and now we're going to select the Mark Areas to Keep. So what PowerPoint has done is that it's actually over-selected. So I want to keep the areas that are on the helmet. I'm going to draw a little line here to select that. And as you can see, it did a really good job. And then I'm going to zoom in and actually get those toes as well. So just a quick little drawing there gets them both. So I'll zoom out again, and you can see what that's done. It's really clean. Once you've made all the changes that you want, it's looking really good, you can go ahead and select Keep Changes, and that's going to crop it on out. So as you can see, the background is now totally removed, and it looks just like a PNG. Here I'm placing that cropped JPEG on top of another image, and you would never know that it was not a PNG to begin with. This is a really awesome hack for you to use. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at that photograph that we have. The concept is going to be just the same, but it's going to be a little bit trickier. You can see that the background is just not quite as even as our illustration was. But it should be okay. Let me walk you through how to do it. Again, we'll select, hit Picture Format, and then go over to Remove Background. As you can see here, it didn't do quite as good of a job of auto-detecting what it was that we really wanted to remove. So if we kept it like so, obviously not ideal, right? So I'll click Ctrl-Z and try that again. Again, removing the background, marking the areas to keep is going to be the thing that really saves the day here. So I'll take my little pen and I'll just trace the outline here of the astronaut, just like I would if I were coloring in a book, and then I'll scribble on the inside to really get those inner pieces. It does a pretty good job, see? So I'll hit the helmet over here, a little arm over there, and then left arm over here, but oops, look at that, I actually over-selected again. So here, what I'm gonna do is click Mark Areas to Remove. I have the little pen again, and I'll just do a quick little line, and it's gonna fix it for me. So, Mark Areas to Keep, fix that arm. In really refining, you may find yourself over-selecting quite a bit, so that happens again here. I'll go ahead and hit Mark Areas to Remove and fix it. So, I'll say that this is not necessarily as clean as the magnetic lasso tool, but it's 95% as good. I'll click Keep Changes, and as you can see, I've cropped that background right on out. And I can do the same thing as I did before, copy and paste it, over here into my night sky, and that looks really, really sharp. Check out the notes below to download a free PowerPoint workbook that you can use to practice these skills on your own. Getting hands-on practice building skills like these is really going to help you enhance your overall technical skill set. After you're finished, try applying these techniques to other JPEGs you have, and have fun.